years have been tight. Ball up in the air, and we are underway. Big South basketball on a late Thursday night. Owen Aquino on this high-octane offense, 92 points per game. Rob Martin with the penetration, gives it off to Anderson underneath. Aquino with the left hand.
That's a bright spot for High Point, working their way into the paint immediately. Rob Martin, the catalyst of that. Once he gets to the middle of the floor, it is extremely difficult to stop High Point, shooting 51% from the field.
Near turnover, the starting five for the Blue Hose. Pickett, Wilson, Parrish, and then the two bigs, two of the best in the conference, Pierce and Peterson. Long three by Pickett, off the front iron, no good. Loose ball, Karam's right back to his feet, and a second chance opportunity. Now Carl Parrish will let it fly. Couple of offensive rebounds early. Pierce underneath gets it to go.
At first you don't succeed. Right now we saw Presbyterian put a lot of pressure in that interior, getting second and third chance opportunities to score the ball.
Back cut underneath. Hassan hesitating, now able to muster up the shot. Good resistance underneath. That was Jalen Peterson ripping down the board. Peterson going coast to coast with it, and Aquino says, not in my neighborhood.
Owen Aquino, one of those players who can do a little bit of everything. A lot of the things that he does doesn't show up on the stat board, but he defends the post extremely well.
Nifty little move inside by Anderson, coming off his career high 31 points last time out in the win against Radford.
Yeah, 6'6", gravitates to the post and paint area where if he can't blow by you, he will Barkley you and find ways to get you in the post and using his footwork.
Here's the matchup the Presbyterian likes. Inside, Peterson with the left hand. Jalen Peterson, always known for his defense, but Quentin Farrell said he has certainly taken that. Quentin Farrell, a 2007 graduate from Presbyterian. Part of this program for nearly 3 decades. Inside, look at the patience and the execution by Jonah Pierce.
That's one thing he does extremely well. He understands his feet. Once he gets positioning, once he has the shoulder advantage, it's nothing you can do but watch him finish.
Aquino, an accomplished passer from his post position. You'll see him up top a lot. They really worked the backdoor cuts to perfection last time out in the win. Shot clock down to 5. Hassan trying to create, has a block by Pierce.
Powers down there, and Jonah Pierce and Jaden Peterson.
Gonna have to be a quick catch and release, and Anderson buries it.
Anderson still riding that wave from his Radford game.
He's hit both of his first shots of the night. He has 5. High-low action. Pierce wanting the ball. Peterson did not feed it to him. Pretty good battle there with Pierce and Aquino. Now Wilson down the lane. He's going to 2. Both from Miami Norland Senior.
Yeah, he's going to have himself a big game. He can get to the free throw line at will. He's going to have to make sure that he tries to expose the weaknesses of High Point's defense.
Look at the body control there by Terry Anderson. Despite the contact, able to shred it off.
I'll say this, when you're 6'6" and you can handle like he handles, going full speed, he is tough to deal with in the open floor.
Parrish bouncing it inside, little high arcing shot, finds the friendly roll for Josh Pickett. Soft touch by Pickett, the one transfer in the starting 5 for Quentin Farrell and Presbyterian. Everybody else returning players from a year ago. They brought Pickett in from the Rocky Mountains of Denver.
Pickett's been big for Presbyterian, kind of filling that point role.
Both teams continue to sizzle from the floor as Aquino finishes.
If you're Presbyterian, you can't like the pace that you're going on right now against High Point. High Point.
Shot clock to 10. Presbyterian getting pushed out. Now Pierce immediately draws the double team. Jonah Pierce trying to kiss it off the glass, a little too strong. One and done. Aquino ripping down the rebound. Media timeout. Next dead ball. Aquino trying to show his range. Offensive rebound pulled in by Hassan. Second chance opportunity for High Point. Rob Martin spins his way, nearly slipped. Picks it back out high to Scotty Washington, who lost it. Will trigger inbound after the timeout. Everything pretty much in the paint so far. 16 of the 20 points coming in the lane, and that took
angle to be open to get himself an easy layup or get to the free throw line.
Players that they have brought in. Born in Spain, his third stop. He spent last year at Liberty, had a really good year. Started all 35 games for the Flames. And has really provided muscle and toughness inside for High Point, a team that just does a lot of their damage on the perimeter.
Yeah, he does a lot of things that don't show up on the stat sheet, but that you need for a winning culture.
Panthers by one. Substitutions for both teams. Wilson hesitating up top, now puts the ball on the floor. Away shot, and he rattles it home. Put that right over the top of Cameron Fletcher, number 11 for High Point, who is seeing his first action since December 31st, the game with UNC Asheville, and this guy is a difference maker. Number 11 in lavender. Top of the key three, Brady lets it fly, no. Long rebound chased down by Pierce. Free throw shooters in the conference. Wilson right back at Brady, 11 and 11, 4 and 3 in conference games. So just a couple games back in the loss column of front-running Winthrop. He's a game ahead of High Point in the win column. Very balanced league this year.
Yeah, absolutely. There's about 3 or 4 games that I think Presbyterian could have won if they had their full roster. They've been dealing with a lot of injuries the last few months.
Block on the other. 5 early points for the part of the 2000.
They've got some
Farrell led Presbyterian to the Division II NCAA tournament. You mentioned not one but 2 20-win seasons as a player, and this is a program that's never been to the NCAA tournament. Hoping maybe they can take a page out of the High Point playbook from a year ago. And with defense like this, they can get it done.
It's physical down there, block shots, rebounds the ball. Perfect in this system.
Chase Johnston is checked into the game. Get a first look at Yusef Singari as well, the big man, the transfer from UCA. Rob Martin misses with the left hand, gets his own rebound. Here's a 3 from the left side. No, Brady misfired. And I think a push-up. Hassan pinned along the near side, finds a little bit of daylight, cut off behind the basket. This is what this guy does. Chase Johnston, he is a sniper. That is his 49th field goal this year. All 49 have been through 1 2-point shot this year. He missed it, but boy, he doesn't miss too many threes. Panthers up 2, dangerous juncture as we approach the halfway point of this first half. 3 straight turnovers for the Blue Hose. They'll try to change it. Triple teamed along the baseline.
Makes it really tough for you to get the ball to the middle of the floor where Presbyterian was having some isolated success. They're forcing you to the short corners where they're putting multiple purple bodies on you, making it tough for you to either score or pass out.
Brady picks up his dribble in a dangerous spot. Martin comes out to bail him. Martin, the first-year transfer from southeastern Missouri, dribbles us all the way into the far corner where it's
accustomed to going that deep into the shot clock most of the time in the half court. Their offense is flowing to a point where they can make something quick.
Johnston, we were just talking about, he never takes the 2-pointer.
He had no choice.
Now a step back 3, and that is money. Carl Parrish, the long-range 3. Quentin Farrell says this is one of the most pure shooters that he has coached.
Yeah, pure shooter, 3-level guy.
Rob Martin gets it right back on the other end. Back and forth we go. Panthers up a point. Parrish at the elbow, and he hits 2 in a row. Carl Parrish, coming off his 15th double-digit scoring game of the year, put up 18 points in the loss against Winthrop. He can score in bunches. Hassan for 3. Does not draw tonight, just to take some of the heat off both Pierce and Peterson inside.
In the interior, especially because if you aren't shooting from the perimeter, then defenses will implode, make it tough, shrink the floor so that Pierce and Peterson are going up against double and triple teams. If you have somebody that can be that relief valve from the perimeter, it makes it a lot easier for them to get their isolation.
Pickett will shoot over Martinez. That's a tough shot, and that's a 3-pointer for Josh Pickett.
And Josh Pickett is gaining more and more confidence from the perimeter as far as shooting goes. Obviously, he's playing the facilitator for this team, but has to take advantage of his space given.
Hassan buries the 3. Braden Hassan, the sophomore, one of the younger players in the starting 5 for High Point.
Well, he made it for a reason. I mean, he's 6'7", one of their more efficient shooters, but also has a good body on him where he can play once he gets 2 feet in the paint.
Fade away from Parrish won't go, and a powerful rebound, a one-handed rebound by Aquino. Martinez, Aquino wanted it, left it short. Well, a rare opportunity for Presbyterian to push. They have the numbers. Kaylon Hudson spins it into Pierce, who tried to force up an Illinois shot. He had nothing but Panthers surrounding him. A little rugged right now offensively, both ends, for the last minute or 2. Martinez with the pump, drives into the lane, kicks it out. 3-pointer by Martin. Game as a Wildcat of Arizona as they fell to Duke. Nice scoring game, and Martinez has been a wonderful find in the transfer portal for head coach Flynn Clayman.
Yeah, strong, physical.
Hey, look at some of the early numbers. Both teams shooting the ball pretty well, especially Presbyterian, 60% from the floor. They've hit a couple of threes, which really isn't part of their MO too much. Jonah Pierce trying to get on track, cannot. Hassan pulls down the rebound, one of the best transition teams, quickly working their magic into the offensive end. Tough catch, and out of...
Yeah, even on missed baskets, High Point can try to seize a fast break opportunity to get down the floor so quickly. Their half court or their full court offense looks like a half court set.
They get the takeaway right back with Hassan. Beautiful look. Martinez running the floor, and that's High Point at its best.
At its best. One thing that Presbyterian cannot do is they cannot allow fast break opportunities by errant passes in their offensive sets. Their offense has to be their best defense.
Henderson has 8 to pace the Panthers. Lob inside. Peterson trying to spin, locates. Here's the 3 ball by Wilson. How about this first half from Tristan Wilson?
Yeah, it is needed and necessary for Presbyterian to stay relevant in this game. The only thing that scares me about it is the pace. It is High Point's pace right now. This is a team, this Presbyterian team is a team that gets around 70-some points per game. High Point gets in the 90s. You don't want to go in the 90s.
Aquino gets his second field goal. He has 5, and we are tied at 28. Entertaining first half. Jam-packed Lebain Arena here in High Point. 5 team fouls. Presbyterian has committed only 2. Safety valve up top. This is Wilson. Jonah Pierce will turn. He'll lean in on Aquino with the right hand, and he left it short again. Tough start early for Pierce, now 2 of 6.
I'll say this, Owen Aquino has done a really good job on Pierce, walling up, playing with physicality, bumping him off his comfortable spots to try to score.
Martinez looking Aquino's direction. Now they get Aquino a touch. Oh, look at the quickness. Finds Anderson accelerating down the lane. That's the vision that Aquino brings.
Absolutely. Able to see the double team coming from the baseline off of his spin and was able to take full advantage by hitting a cutting Anderson for a beautiful finish.
Anderson, first player to hit double figures. He's connected on all 6 of his shots in this first half. They keep feeding Pierce, and this time he finishes.
Yeah, great duck-in action there with Pierce getting Aquino on the back end of him.
Oh, big-time block as Peterson swatted it out of there. Look at the hustle by Jalen Peterson.
Jalen Peterson's a guy that really can put a ton of pressure on the glass, not by rebounding, but also by blocking shots.
He's one of the best athletes in this conference. Farrell told us they almost had to rewire his aggressiveness his whole life. Coaches have relied on his athleticism for the defensive end, but he has quite a bit of talent offensively, and it's just going to continue to develop, much like his teammate Jonah Pierce. Aquino challenging Pierce, tried to put it up strong, no, kept alive by Anderson, who saves it. Terrific hustle. Second chance opportunity. That's 8 offensive rebounds now in this first half. Aquino underneath. And the way you play defense like they do each and every night, this is a team you do not want to run into come March in the Big South tournament.
And the reason you were right on that is because shooting percentages usually go down during tournament time, partly because the defense intensifies. Everybody knows everybody's specialties, but also the pressure of it could be your last game of the season or of your career. So,
to the free throw line tonight. What a season it's been for the 5th-year senior, his 3rd year with this program.
He's working diligently in the interior, try to get another touch at the basket.
1 of 2 at the line for Pierce. When you talk to Quentin Farrell and the improvement of Jonah Pierce, it's about that motor and really instilling him to play with confidence.
I think he's got the capability just because of how good he is around the basket with his touch, with his footwork, with his post work. He's very tough to deal with in isolation.
Great job there by Martin finding a little bit of daylight.
Yeah, Rob Martin is just so fast out there. Small guard, but plays off the 2, plays extremely strong. It's tough to deal with.
His mom put a basketball in his hands when he was 5 years old. Tremendous confidence on the floor. Aquino might have got a piece of the original shot.
High Point and Presbyterian, because Presbyterian has any type of lulls at this
modern college basketball era to have. Carl Parrish has been there 3 years. Tristan Wilson a couple of years. The only newcomer, Josh Pickett.
Yeah, that's why you got to tip your hat off to Coach Farrell, what he's been able to do. And
caps off the three-point play. High Point has built their largest lead in this first half. You mentioned crunch time. It's really crunch time if you're the Blue host. You played so well in this first half. Don't let this game get away late in this first half.
Yeah, one way they can do that is getting back to the middle of the floor.
Presbyterian getting to the foul line in this first half. Taylor on their West Coast trip, and then Iverson King recently ruled out for the year, so a couple of guards have forced some jockeying of positions in the backcourt.
Yeah, absolutely. At first, Presbyterian had Carl Parrish as their primary ball handler, but notice that because he was doing that, his scoring suffered.
The Blue Hose have no answer, slowing down Rob Martin. Again, just tearing up this half-court defense.
I mean, Rob Martin is an elite point guard, and he recognizes blood in the water. When you can't stay in front of him, he's going to continue to take advantage of that.
Parrish curling off a low screen. See if Presbyterian can slow down Rob Martin. He scored 7 straight. Martin will try to add to that total. Back iron, no good. Pierce there to clear it. 4-point lead for the Panthers. Inside 90 seconds to go in this first half. Tough shot by Parrish, no. Pierce on the offensive glass.
Scoring can also quell the run of High Point.
Forced to go out high. Wilson Lobs it underneath. Look at Pierce splitting the double team. Brady had slid down to help out Aquino.
Great strength, great balance and poise from Jonah Pierce.
7 points, 6 rebounds in this first half for Pierce. Presbyterian right back in it, down 2. Aquino trying to bully his way in. Left hand, soft touch, no. Rebound on the weak side, rejected. Fletcher had his shot blocked. That was Peterson who came away with the swat. Now a 3 by Parrish for the lead, and it's good. Carl Parrish from downtown.
Big 3, but even better defense on the other end from Peterson. That's where his athleticism comes in full display. He was beat on that possession.
Good shooting first half on the road for Presbyterian. 4 of 6 from beyond the arc, 51% from the floor. Let's see what Flynn Clayman has scripted up with that last time out. Rob Martin sends it over to Martinez. Martinez with the dribble, stops in the lane. Beautiful Euro step in. Time for Presbyterian, losing the handle, trying to force the desperation. Each team with 2 players in double figures. Parrish and Wilson with 10 for Presbyterian. Anderson's 12, a game high. Aquino has 10. Blue Hose shooting the ball really well in the first half, 52%, 4 of 6 from downtown, but they start the second half with a turnover. Same starting 5 out there for the Panthers. Aquino hands it off to Washington, who gets it right back to Aquino. A little bit out of control that time, and an easy rebound for Pierce.
Yeah, Peterson did a good job pulling the chair from under him and making it so on. Aquino lost his balance.
Rob Martin extending the second half. Rob Martin picking up his 3rd foul.
In their arsenal.
Justin Wilson has started every game this year for the Blue Hose. Had a couple of tough league games a couple of weeks ago, but he has certainly come out of it, really starting with the Gardner-Webb contest. And tonight he has been really solid. 12 points, a lot of the damage coming from the free throw line. Martinez feeds Washington points per game this year. A long way from home. Really the first time he's played basketball out on the West Coast. Los Angeles, California native, went to St. John Bosco, and then a couple of stops on the West Coast before arriving at High Point. Martinez with the takeaway. Has a couple of trailers. He'll pop up a 3. No. Put back won't go for Aquino. And need him for why are they so successful again? Sure, they can. It's the other team being Houston.
Yeah, that's very difficult to do. One thing that they do well is they just can understand what the opposing team is doing offensively and jump the gun and get themselves a lot of turnovers from that.
Panthers by 3, early stages of this second half. Defense really picking up for High Point. Back
entries that they were getting in the first half.
Martinez will walk it up. The big 225-pound point guard Pickett waiting to greet him. Crossover by Martinez. Tough catch by Aquino. Spins away from the contact. Just can't finish. 3 turnovers in their first 4 possessions in the second half. Parrish got caught up in midair. Nowhere to go with it. Here comes Anderson running. Gives it to a trailing Martinez. No. Halfway home and it's spun out. Back on the other end goes Wilson, tiptoeing his way through defenders, and he lays it home. High Point on the other end attacking, but Peterson clears it out of there. Holy smokes, Jalen Peterson not giving up on the play.
Yeah, on my scout report, when it comes to Peterson, it is don't jump. Don't try to jump against him. Don't try to jump with him.
That's what they used to put when players played against you, right?
Absolutely. I was taking spirits on a daily basis.
Washington starting to be a little bit more active here in this second half. He connects.
The Presbyterian has to do a better job of keeping guys like Washington out the middle of the floor. We got to watch High Point in their pregame. They spend about 30 minutes on working on 2-foot game isolations in the midcourt.
Tristan Wilson just continues to slice and dice. 16 now for Geis, 7 of 8 from the floor. Contact out high. 3 block shots tonight. He had a game in which he blocked 6 earlier this year. They're not blocking this one. Hassan from long range.
I'll say this, Presbyterian has been doing a solid job on Hassan, just limiting his openings in space, but right there, he got enough daylight to get his feet set and knock down the 3. And knocking down the big-time 3 ball.
Hassan, another player who has grown leaps and bounds, only played 7 games off the bench last year, but he has been a key cog this season. Parrish in front of the Presbyterian bench. That's a tough shot, fading away against the long, outstretched arms of Aquino. Conrad Martinez, one of 2 players from Spain on this High Point roster. Here goes Hassan inside, and he muscles his way for 2.
Talk about High Point making it a point of emphasis to play off 2 feet once they get into the paint. It creates so many options, especially against a guy like Peterson, who can block shots on a consistent clip. You got to pump fake against him, and Hassan did just that.
Switching.
I had to play against him. Difficult to deal with in that post area, and really, really big storied career for that guy. I mean, love him to death now, but hated him during Big South play.
Scored 1,499 points for the Blue Hose back in the day. 3rd most by any Presbyterian player in D1 history. And it's no coincidence that the development of their bigs closely tied to Alonzo Coleman. After the timeout, Wilson able to connect on 3. Here goes Anderson to the basket. Ball bouncing around. Aquino salvages it, gets it back out. Washington's 3 offline. Well, pretty good looks there for High Point, but they come up empty.
You least expect it.
Changes for High Point. We'll see if this depth plays a factor as we go deeper into this game.
When the starting 5 was scouted profusely, that second wave, those Bobby Pettifords of the world were able to make things happen. Those Terry Andersons of the world were able to make things happen.
Closing in on yet another double-double this year. 2 of the afternoon's best matchups. Number 14 Baylor, number 22 West Virginia. That's at 1 Eastern. And then on ABC, 4th-ranked Texas hosts number 10 Oklahoma. The next edition of the Red River rivalry. Presbyterian continuing to battle. Backdoor cut. Hassan able to get free. Wilson lost track of him.
Yeah, they are guarding Hassan so close on that 3-point line. That back cut is available for him. And when you have a guy like Owen Aquino that can facilitate, that gives you opportunity.
Committed to Kentucky. Only played 9 games for John Calipari. Hit the transfer portal. Had his moments in his 3 years at Tallahassee at Florida State, but he's battled a couple of serious.
Changed the landscape of a game simply because of his rebounding ability, his physicality, his ability to play inside out. He's a matchup discrepancy.
Panthers trying to extend the lead. Martinez into that right block in amongst the trees. Ball tipped out, controlled by Wilson, who will put on the brakes. Youssef Singari back into the game for High Point. Ball deflected out of bounds. Good work by Hassan as he heads to the bench. 7 in this second half, including 7 straight for the Panthers. Peterson had it knocked away. Looked like that was Martinez who got his hands in. 11th turnover tonight for Presbyterian. Anderson hands it off. Here goes Fletcher just as he's getting ready to have liftoff. Now a scrum. Just returned to practice last week. He was away from the team for a few weeks dealing with personal issues. There was a death in the family. Returned to practice last week and now ready to go for the stretch run. Here he is for 3. especially on the defensive glass, averaging close to 8 rebounds a game.
How to play in those pressure cooker situations, like you said. You know how to handle runs. You know how to, quell it. You know how to play aggressively without fouling. I mean, all that stuff comes into play when you have the experience that Cameron Fletcher has.
Pierce can't get the dunk. Also back in there to the Lavender tonight. Panther program that had a major overhaul as far as their roster. A number of players after the success last year entered the transfer portal.
Mold a team into playing the right way, and so he's done a great job so far for High Point. And really just, it was already a Ferrari. Now he's just making sure he just doesn't scratch it.
Yeah, he's got the polish for sure. He talked about how Coach Huss really prepared him for this moment to be a head coach and wanted to make sure he was ready to go when the opportunity presented itself. Certainly has been. Good defensive sequence here for the Blue Hose. Let's see if they can finish it with a stop. Rob Martin between the legs, curls his way into the paint. Tough shot, and he swishes it home.
Even though Rob Martin is, 5'8", 5'9", and some change, he is a guy, once he can get to the middle of the floor, he uses his footwork, he uses his pump fakes. He has a nice little fadeaway jumper. It's tough to deal with down there.
Back up to a 6-point lead. Jonah Pierce stumbling his way in. Nearly lost the handle, gathered it back in.
That's what we talked about, that touch around the basket. Even when he loses balance, he can still focus it in.
Austin, who's had the hot hand in this second half, passes it off to Brady. Brady comes near side. Anderson, a lot of contact, the upper body in the foul line. Plus, he leads the team with 4 assists. Career high is 23 for Wilson against USC Upstate. Tough shot, Austin. Front iron, chase Pickett. Wilson, Pierce. They also have Chiaquelo out there. Peterson getting a breather after the timeout. Down 4. Approaching the halfway point in this second half. Here goes Wilson. High arcing shot won't go. And Anderson to shoot the 1-and-1. High Point 7 of 11 from the foul line. Leading by 4. Not shot the three-point ball well. This is a team that really finishes a lot of teams off behind the perimeter to
win games in the lower numbers. They have to be that team that win the Winthrop. And, Logan Duncan down there, 6'11", big, strong, active, very tough to deal with in the interior. And he made life terrible there for High Point. And so you got teams like that. Presbyterian is very similar to that, with Jonah Pierce and Jalen Peterson. And so High Point is looking at this as a real test to be able to deal with that level of play.
Austin front and center. Gives it over to Anderson. Now Martin comes right back to the southpaw. Puts up a 3. Bingo.
Anderson doesn't shoot it a lot. But when he does, it's a high percentage shot for him.
It's like when they need a basket, they look number 5's direction. Terry Anderson. Just like Presbyterian turns to this guy, Jonah Pierce. 16 now for Pierce tonight.
And Jonah Pierce willing himself to the position that he needed to make that layup. He's just so tough to deal with down there.
Martin keeps the dribble alive. Elon Hudson, who has been valuable off the bench this year, checking in, and Peterson getting back in there as well. Dial up off the inbound. They try to free up Hawson, cut off by Pierce. He will try to back his way in. This is a tough matchup for Hawson. He's going to challenge Pierce, and he won't get the roll. Ball tipped out to Washington. Here goes Anderson for 3. No.
To get themselves some momentum and go on a run.
Sorry, championship pedigree for High Point, part of the UConn National Championship team. Rod Martin from three, and High Point don't look now, but they have their largest lead of the night.
Yeah, those are those winning moments when you give them multiple chances to score the ball. Due to offensive rebounding, you're going to lose to a team that can score the ball as efficiently as High Point.
Bad pass that time by Wilson. It's a 3-on-2. Martin with it, accelerates in. First year here at High Point is at Indiana State. Here coming out of high school and Christian Brothers, where he played for Justin Tatum, Mason Tatum's father. Timeout, and a good one utilized here by Quentin Ferris.
As far as two freshmen that can really score the ball, and A.J. DiBarianza can also defend. I really love watching him play.
All right, key timeout for Presbyterian. Let's see what they dial up out of the break, and they will get a foul.
About us, talked about the emphasis on making your defense your best offense because.
Nice bounce back game from Jonah Pierce. 17 points for Pierce. Presbyterian down 7. Pickett's going to come out with the 3 fouls and challenge Martin. Martinez off the screen, swings it up top. Here goes Anderson. He has a step. Beat Peterson off the punch.
Anderson, who is a lefty, loves getting downhill, getting to his left. Right there, knew how to use his shoulders to ward off Peterson and finish high up the glass.
Tremendous balance for High Point. 4 players in double figures. Wilson trying to carve his way in. He finds Pierce. Those are the moves that we would see Alonzo Coleman rip off time and time again back in his playing days, and now he's watching one of his students do the same thing.
He didn't do it every time against us, though. When I come from that weak side, I'd swat it from time to time.
He knew better.
He knew better. He made business decisions.
7-point lead right now. Anderson's feeling it. He'll go in. Lost it. Gathers it back. Shot clock down to 7. 3 ball by Martin as he elevates it up. And the long rebound caroms out to Pickett. There's a 3 ball by Wilson halfway home. Pierce kept it alive.
One of the better three-point shooting teams in the conference and can really make up a lot of ground.
The March will be here. Teams over the next month making their push for a little March Madness. 1 of 2 at the line for Pierce. 21 points now for Jonah Pierce. He has scored Presbyterian's last 11 points. Blue Hose down by 6 on the road. Martinez just does not have any type of space taken away. 2-on-1. The alley-oop broke it up. Good job there by Anderson to stay grounded as he took away the path that Peterson wanted. There's a long-range 3 that's left short by Parrish. Hassan the rebound. Martin pushing off into the corner. Martinez wisely will slow it up.
Yeah, that was good open floor defense from Anderson there, baiting Parrish to throw the lob and then boxing out right before it happened to get the deflection and steal.
High Point just doesn't cough it up. That's their first turnover in nearly 20 minutes of action. Shot clock running down. There's a 3 by Martin, no, but the rebound controlled by Hassan. Now he shoots long-range 3. And Pierce able to grab it.
Yeah, one thing Presbyterian has struggled with is containing the long rebound from High Point's exterior shooting.
There goes Jalen Peterson inside. Good defense by Aquino. He held his ground. Was not going to budge an inch. Possession's valuable now. Here's a 3 by Martinez. Aquino kept it alive, but Hassan starting 5 out on the floor for Presbyterian. Trying to get some oxygen late for this home stretch. This crowd starting to get into it as well. A full house tonight. Another winter storm approaching the High Point area over the weekend. Another turnover for PC. Just killing opportunities. Open 3. And a rare miss by Anderson. And Anderson commits the Tristan Wilson.
Emphasis to get to the interior. At the beginning of the season, he was settling a lot more for the three, but now he is understanding where his bread is buttered, and that is once he gets into the lane, when he can draw fouls, play off 2 feet, make life terrible for his opponents.
Rob Martin tried to snap a 3-minute score. Seen the Panther offense, both players with 8 points. Martin now with 19, High Point stretching the lead. Keep an eye on the battle underneath. Pearson Aquino. Anderson nearly got his hands on a steal. They get the ball inside to Pierce, and he closes it.
That's a rare situation for Jonah Pierce, where he actually has an isolated play against Owen Aquino. The last few times he's caught the ball, he has been double and triple teamed.
Martin comes back to the ball, got Pierce to leave his feet, works his way around, but look at Peterson. Holy cow.
You want to know what's disrespectful? It almost looked like Peterson cleared Martin on that block. I mean, I thought he jumped over him.
4 block shots tonight. Now can Presbyterian convert on the other end? They cannot. Still a 4-point game. Here goes Aquino with a clear 60% free throw shooter this year. 2 for 3 tonight. As a team. The senior from Spain puts the second one up and through. And now High Point for the first time is going to extend the pressure. Martinez will pick up the man-to-man defense, pick it across the timeline. Up top, they go to Wilson, right back to Pickett on the right arm. Inside, this is Pierce, nearly walked with a tough shot. Somehow he gets it to go.
Yeah, Jonah Pierce was looking for a foul. I mean, this entire night he has been looking for the fouls, and he has had to earn his baskets today.
Rob Martin again, deep penetration, backs it up to Hawson. Hawson will twirl his way in. Good job there by Wilson. Just his brother, part of Kansas State's basketball squad in the past, and now Braden Hawson doing his part tonight.
I'll tell you what, Coach Quentin Farrell is livid after that play. He felt that Wilson stayed vertical the entire time and just shifted his body as Hawson did. And he's saying, what about on this side of the floor? You know, with all the contact that Jonah Pierce is getting. So, viable argument there.
Another turnover for Presbyterian. Hawson got a hand on it. His turnovers mounting in the second.
Before, he's not a true point guard.
Get one good for Martinez. Transfer from Arizona this offseason.
To draw those fouls, get free opportunities at the basket, and then on the defensive end, you have to accumulate stops. And the way you can do that is by running good offense. No transition defense there because you can't keep up with High Point speed.
Trying to set up a play for Parrish, their long-range sniper. He'll get a look, and he buries it.
Carl Parrish is capable of those situations, those end-of-the-shot clock situations, but also just when needed and necessary for his team.
Huge shot for Parrish. He's had a fairly quiet night. He came out, scored 5 early points, but has been quiet in the second half. Rob Martin hands it off. This is Anderson looking to plow his way inside. Kicks it back out. Martin 3, no. Fight for the rebound, chased down by Division I All-American, got his start at Eastern Florida State in Cocoa Beach. At the 5, U16, U20 national. Tons of experience, does a lot of the garbage work that every team needs. 2 clutch free throws in the stretch. High Point back up 7. Necessarily need to think 3 here if they can get a touch. They're working hard to try to clear up Parrish. Keno and Hawson both lurking, not trying to give him any type. Peterson will go and set a screen for Hudson. Nothing, pans open. Now Parrish comes to the ball, threads the knee.
See that Presbyterian's going to put that full court pressure on. See if they can get something quick.
For the ambush trap right around midcourt. Conrad Martinez hop skips his way into the front court. Two-possession game. They're going to look for the defensive stop here and not foul. Shot clock to 9. Martinez, one of the best ball handlers in the Big South, finds Aquino for 3. It's short. And the rebound cleared by Presbyterian, so they get the stop that you were talking about. Now they need points on the other end. It's Wilson attacking and getting the 2. And Wilson, just like that, it's a 3-point game.
Yeah, Wilson able to get the ball in the basket as quickly as possible. Oh.
Up ahead of the pack, it's Anderson. He'll pump on the brakes. They will work on the clock. Presbyterian's going to have to foul. Blue Hose player to foul out, Jonah Pickett. A good find. Conrad, court to go. Here they come, full head of steam. Carl Parrish rushes up, puts up a 3. They need it. It's short. On the inbound, they get it to Martinez. Up ahead, this is Martin. Presbyterian's going to have to foul. Present foul shooter this season.
And you can't go wrong with any of them aside from Aquino, who's shooting in the 60s, but
they are making their free throws late. High Point, the 3rd highest scoring team in the country at 92 per night. They get 84 in this one, and it's going to be enough. Possum will just throw it up ahead, and the